don't care.
Wait, what's the next thing on Lyle Estill's mind?
Okay, are we talking about? Oh well, first of all, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Did Doherty's? This is a food and beverage
Yeah.
podcast, right? That's,
Yeah,
okay.
it's whatever.
Yeah, it's based
Did
around.
Doherty's knock out Postal?
Knock out what?
Postal Fish.
No.
I would not think that.
No. I mean no.
They made a decision to go.
Postal Fish kind of committed suicide. You know?
Okay, but
so many
it's
different
like
levels.
suddenly Doherty's opens, Postal closes.
Yeah, but if you talk to him,
Causation, correlation.
he said point blank to me, "I'm tired of this." Point blank, and he had a very long-term lease at a very low dollar amount, and he
Right.
will tell you that. And they had just gotten to the point. I mean, that was by
thank you.
far my favorite restaurant in this town. We were a twice a week at Postal every single week, all the time, and I
That's
loved
where the Rotary Club met once a month.
Right.
didn't
Oh
it?
yeah, we used to have
It's
a
a
great
it's
time.
a it's a big loss for fine
Oh,
dining, and
dude.
the thing about
Yeah.
it is our fine dining game is
Terrible.
not bringing people to town. So
No.
you remember the Hilltop? Does anyone remember the Hilltop?
Uh-huh.
Right across the street from Chatham Marketplace. The Hilltop. It's now Davenport Coffee or
Gosh, I remember when that was a Chinese restaurant.
Carpe Diem.
Oh yeah.
It was a Chinese restaurant like
Yes.
30, 40 years ago. That's what
Yeah.
I remember. I don't remember the Hilltop. I didn't even know it
Okay,
existed.
so it was just really good fine dining.
Uh-huh.
They would come from Chapel Hill, they would come from Raleigh,
Yeah.
and they would dress up. This would be the era where you would dress up and go out to dinner.
Uh-huh.
And they had, the tuxedo waiters and that kind of stuff.
Right.
It was the
Well,
it was the real thing, and it's something that the town. Like,
Now, when you went, did you go there often?
yes,
Did you wear your hat all every time?
it may have been pre-Top Hat.
Oh, pretty
Great
top
time.
hat.
Well, if we can just get the ink signed, we might have some fine dining this
Okay,
week.
well, good. So,
Yeah,
okay,
right.
so what are our deficits?
is this something I should know about?
You know about it.
Okay.
Is there something you can share? If
No.
you can't, then no. Let's not talk about it.
I mean, until it's done, it's not done.
Okay.
Do
All
I
right.
have
You have no say in the matter.
a meeting today?
Hopefully, you'll have paperwork.
I think
Okay.
he kind of tries to keep you away from potential.
Yeah.
No,
No,
if anything,
what-
I was trying to include them.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah.
I thought you said you wanted to keep him away from that kind of stuff.
It depends on where we're at
Well,
in the negotiations.
he-
When it comes to when we're close to the finish line, he has to be involved.
Well,
he has to say yay or nay.
let's just say that I may have boned up deals before,
Yeah.
and maybe I should just stay on the sidelines.
I think there's good and bad of being such good friends with a client. I speak to him so much differently than I would any other client, and vice versa. He does the same and everything. He goes from desperate to cocky in 10 seconds flat. He's like,
Yeah, but
"You
his
need to
wife,
get-
his
you need
wife
to get me some-
experiences
you need to
that.
get this- Oh, it's worth twice that. Charge him double. And I'm like, it literally happens in a blink of an eye. So I wait until he has buy-in to present him with anything.
So you don't
Okay,
have
how
to
about-
worry about that kind of stuff.
How about, oh, no. How about early internet memes? Does any of you guys remember Business Mouse? Business Mouse
No.
was one of the first sort of things to go viral, and it's a little cartoon. I think it was French, but anyway, the guy's a little small business mouse, right? And one moment it's like, oh, it's over. He hits a button, down comes a noose, gets up, start around, it's over. He's in the process of killing himself, and just before he steps off the patent, it's like bang, bang, bang on the door. Someone comes in, it's like, you know that blah 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 that you own is, wham, and he goes from like it's over for me to big cigars.
We'll have to look
sitting
into
on
that.
top of the world.
I'm not that mercurial.
So the implication is here, blah, 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 blah. The plenty will save
You'll
you.
find it on YouTube.
Okay.
Take a look
we'll
at
take a
Business
look.
Mouse on YouTube because I think it just goes with the territory.
Yeah.
All
right, so we
now
can-
let's
Wow,
talk.
one of my favorite memories with you is a long, long time ago. You and I were on some county land use board, like 30 years ago, and I didn't know who Wallace Kaufman was.
Okay.
And he was on the board with us.
He's still around.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
on the West Coast.
Right, on the West Coast and everything. But like one of my favorite things ever, because there was different political
Yeah, of course,
perspectives
yeah.
on that, and I thought so many people brought it. Like it was a good think tank. People were bringing like lots of great stuff.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
a salad, really? But Wallace
Oh, yes,
Kaufman,
please.
Help her out with the
Thank
tea.
somebody said preserving the rural integrity of the county, and he said, "What do you mean by that?" And people are like, like farms. And he goes, "Do you know what a farm does?" And he said, it lays waste to all the natural vegetation. It's horrible erosion control. It brings in foreign species, foreign plants, and everything. It was amazing that some guy like this had such a unique perspective. And I read his book. I thought his book was great.
Oh my God, Coming Out of the Woods was a masterpiece.
It was kind of like a Walden Pond, right?
I loved Coming Out of the Woods. I thought it was a masterpiece. Wally was a buddy of mine.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. But I think he lost his mind in the second one. There's no turning back. It's like
I haven't read that.
It was like Wally's now insane, and that's too bad.
Well.
And then his heart was broken by Hurricane Fran.
Really?
Yeah, it came through
all
and
the trees?
and it destroyed Sarah Lynn.
Oh,
he
that's
had
right.
built this paradise, sort of hippie, 70s garden with your shirt off neighborhood, and he moved out west.
Yeah.
Well, he went to Kazakhstan to do some.
No. It was.
He did some consulting.
It was the one that's on the risk board that no one could pronounce. He was actually east of Siberia.
Yeah, Kazakhstan.
Yeah. No, it's not Kazakhstan.
What is it then, Mr. Geography?
Or something. Anyway, yeah,
Yes, yeah,
exactly. So
right.
he shuttled back and forth. But anyway, he told me his heart was broken about Hurricane Fran, and he moved out west where there's no hurricanes.
It was a unique perspective. I mean, his whole affiliation with development, UNC. He was like the anti-developer, but he was a great steward of the land. I mean, I remember reading about him putting the roads in and meandering between the trees, but then he realized the gravel killed the root bed and killed the tree anyways. And it was just...
Yeah, but he was also into picking mushrooms, the right ones and the wrong ones. We're going to leave it there.
Wallace is one of the smartest people I've
No
ever
doubt.
met.
That's what I was trying to say.
I will agree with you.
Yep.
That's true.
I mean, Wallace.
We should have him at this table.
Well, I would kill to have him at this table. If you could set one up where it's
we can do a live stream.
Zoom call, he would 1,000,000%
We can
do
do
it.
it. We can
Because
do
I
it.
chat with him now and then, but that guy hung out with Madeleine Albright. He hung out with Jimmy Carter. You talk about from the 80s and 90s, the cream of the crop of political people, not to do politics, but to go to dinner with them. That's the way he would hang out with them, and just, and don't dare have an opinion on things like the Vietnam War or things like that, because he knows so much about it and knows all the players in it that your opinion just is not informed enough to discuss it. Let's just say that.
Wasn't he an English professor?
I don't know.
He was a professor. I forget if it was English or
yeah,
not.
Yeah.
But yeah, he
right.
took me through Sarah Lee one time. But anyway, getting back to you.
Okay, so here's a question. So we're just going to go ahead and re-release the Plenty, and all is going to be well, and get ready for the cameras. Okay, and we're going to put our town on the map. No problem. We'll just do it again.
All right.
The next thing we need to do is take the flags down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which flags?
There's some Confederate
There's
flags
a couple. There's several
that
throughout the
greet
county.
you as you come into town.
I'm not getting into that.
Well, I'd like to say that there were a couple of things about that I thought were totally unfair. And
You're scared? Are you scared?
no, I mean,
Life.
So let's just say,
I choose my life issues.
and
Your trees are like-
nobody is going to have their names named on this. But there were people on the county commission that were fanning the flames when all those protests were happening downtown about the soldier,
The statue.
the statue. And when that got uglier and uglier and uglier, and you looked at the people who were for the statue out there, they were all from Virginia. And they were
heard
all
that.
on out-of-town plates.
I heard that you could get like 15 an hour to sit in a lawn chair and chat with your pal.
Right. So they're
wow.
they're all
Along
wearing
the side of the road.
literally on out-of-state license plates.
Yes.
And the people who were on the tear down the statue side were largely not from Chatham County either.
Can I get a plate from you there?
Yeah, sorry.
And so things got inflamed with county
Sauce.
commissioners
Sauce.
making jokes about tearing down the flags on people's private property. And I had come to the point with a couple saying if a county commissioner was willing to apologize, would you take the flags down? To which the answer was yes. The commissioners were approached and refused to apologize for advocating.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, for advocating
So you were so
vandalism of
close.
someone's private property.
So you were so close. You almost had a deal.
I tried to get them down.
All right.
And we were relatively
So
close.
what's the new move? Since that didn't work, and it's not good for the town.
No, it's not. It's not. But
It's an image
Right.
that makes it hard for Eric to sell
It
houses.
does. It
Well-
does. It does. But I'm a First Amendment advocate, and and I think one of the things that Elon Musk does with Twitter and whatnot, or X, is that you have to defend speech that you don't like as well.
well,
And
but,
it is a form of free speech. is
but
it not?
again, I think, and I haven't spoken any of the people involved in that flag for. I mean, how many years has it been? It's been 15 years now, hasn't it? Or close to it.
Sam is a friend of mine.
Well,
Sam White and I.
Oh, don't you have a communications channel to Sam? Why are you bringing it to us?
Are you scared?
well,
I'm not scared. I'm just.
Sam is not who I spoke to. I spoke
I'm
to a relative
I'm
of
not
his.
bringing it to you. I'm
But-
talking in general,
In general, macro.
big, wide,
Yeah.
sweeping terms on
Well-
how can we take this town
Mm-hmm.
and do something extraordinary. Okay, let's strike
That is a billboard.
Strike the
That is
Confederate-
a billboard that sends a message as you drive in,
Well,
and
okay,
a
so
lot
strike
of the
that.
people that are driving in are
First
coming in
Amendment.
for that.
Right.
Can't handle it. Got it. Next idea. All right, next idea. Artify. Okay, artify. Here's the thing. What I'm doing down at the plant is no different from what everybody is doing everywhere. You go to North Davidson, Charlotte, you go to American Tobacco, outside food, beverage destinations are on trend. What's the difference between mine and the other 5 million of them? Because they're everywhere. They literally are like every brewery in Asheville popping up. You know, go to visit them all. What's the difference? And the answer is art. We're in the Piedmont of North Carolina. The coast, drop dead gorgeous. Let's go there. The mountains, unbelievable. Let's go there. What have we got? Nothing. Great. Art. Build it with art. Okay, so if SoCo put 10 grand a year into public art, Mosaic did it 10 grand a year for 4 years. The plant puts in 10, the town puts in 10, the county puts in 10. At the end of 4 years, this town would be a destination that people would be coming to see.
People will come for that Festivus pole.
Festivus poll.
The Festivus pole.
I agree with Lyle. I think art is crucial. The town is doing
No,
a
the-
considerable amount. It's in
town-
excess of 10, is it
The
not?
town is,
See, you and I
No.
disagree on this.
Okay.
Because the town is going around buying art and bought that moth bench. That's going up. They got the robot thing that is sitting at the parking lot across from SoCo.
If the town is doing their 10, great. Are
No,
you
they're
doing
doing
your
more
10?
than 10.
I mean, no, they're not. The
Oh,
town,
yeah, they are.
The town goes out and buys an 800. They say we're going to put in $2,500. They put in an 800, and they do out of that budget that they allocated. They spent $875 on a butterfly bike rack. And when I come around the next year, I'm like, you want to move the needle around here? It's not going to be with a butterfly bike rack. It's going to be with a Turista Erico $20,000 popping thing that someone will come to see. And you need to do it like you guys need to go 10. I need to go 10. You need to go 10. Mosaic needs to go 10. Realty Rule needs to go 10.
No.
Realty
Rule.
You'll have plenty of
I
pennies.
allowed the bench and your TV. I'm contributing art-wise with your TV
No, I'm
and
just
the
saying,
bench in
I'm
front
just
of my
saying
door.
that if we
No, I
made this
agree.
kind of investment, we could move the needle
Speaking of which, I got to
on
update
this
that.
town.
Right, and which is why we put the wheels up next to
Love the wheels. I came to the ribbon cutting. Full support.
And but the robots in the parking lot, and then if you look on the corner on the other side of the courthouse, you have the African guy whose name escapes me, but who is like the
Hamadou.
coolest.
Hamadou, yeah.
That guy is the coolest sculptor around it. With
We need to get some Chatham rabbit statues up. Newburn's got their bears up.
Yeah, and I'm not against that at all. And I think we're on board on that. But I think the town
Swansboro
town
has
budget.
swans.
is
What's that?
15
Swansboro
grand.
has swans. It is a good little idea.
What we need a big sign that says Pittsboro without the I in it, so individuals can stand in it and get their picture taken.
That's true.
I like that.
So work
That's
on
a
that.
good idea. No, that's a good idea.
It is a good idea. I just haven't found somebody who can put that together. But you know what? You can melt your chess set over in Fearrington into it and create that.
My chess set hasn't been in Fearrington for, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's impressed me so much that I to this moment, I think it's still out there.
No.
Why, did somebody steal pieces?
No, here's the story. The Fearrington landscaping guys come and they want to buy a chess set. How much is it? $10,000. I make them a chess set. I deliver it. They give me a check for $10,000. 2 years goes by. I get a call from RB. What is this thing in my yard? It's a chess set that I made. Come and get it. Okay? You don't want it in your yard anymore? No. Get it out of here. Okay.
I like that chess
By the way,
set.
I don't. Nick, I'll take it back, and you could sell it for scrap metal, or you can do whatever you want with the chess set, including if you would like, I would take it back, and give me my money back. I'm like, well, no, I'm not Sears.
Yeah.
I'm not Sears. I got commissioned to do a piece for you. I delivered it,
And it's a decade later. No one has a 10-year
So you waited them out.
I don't know what happened to the chess set at Fearrington. I think maybe it's at the bottom of the pond or something like that. But it hasn't been there for years.
I don't know. Maybe it's in Jordan Lake with the fish habitat.
I'm not actually here to sell art. What I'm trying to do, because I don't make art for sale anymore, what I'm trying to do is get customers and get reasons to come across the lake. Okay, so we've got a drop-dead gorgeous butterfly mural on the yoga garden. Well, that's going to be a 4-story, walk-up, right? That's going to get flattened and go away. So as what we have artified also gets deleted. That's why you have to keep pounding on it and keep pounding on it.
Well, I think you make a great point and everything, and I appreciate what you're saying about having the conversation and even tribalism. Just so I'm not the conservative at the table. I'm the least conservative out of the three of us. Whatever.
He's a commie.
But I am a free market guy, and to me, I agree that if we beautify Pittsboro, that's great, benefit to everything. But at the end of the day, it is the entrepreneurs and the individual business owners to be creative and bring businesses that attract people here.
That's right.
When everybody whines and
Put
says,
up a Ferris wheel.
I know.
I want.
No, long. I'd go Ferris wheel all day
I
long.
actually, I went
I'd
up
go
on the
Ferris
Ferris
wheel.
wheel in Omaha, and I will
missing the
post that
point of
video.
what I was trying to say.
Look, the Ferris wheel takes care of all those problems.
I'm like, I think we're in competition with Chatham Park, and I don't have a problem saying that. People don't like talking about that, but there's this tug of war. We're an amenity to them. They're traffic and rooftops for us, but we're competitors.
Right.
But I love competition. I think competition is great.
I don't think it's any problem. I'd say bring it on.
Yeah, let's go
I am
steal
good
all
for
their
them,
art.
and
Yeah,
I feel
I
good
feel
for
what
them,
you're
and
saying.
they are
Yep.
good for me. And
Yep, exactly.
And what we have to do is we have to figure out how to maximize. Okay, so
You build a bridge from the
am
plant to the
a marketeer as well, right? So I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
and
I
get
know
all
you
that. So
are.
my
You
point
are.
is, you got to find the niche that you can inhabit, and then you have to exploit that niche.
I agree. That's
So
good.
what is our strength as a town? If
Right.
it's going to
Right.
be Confederate flags,
That's a
fine.
great
Wait,
conversation.
no.
If it's going to be
Wait.
Confederate
No,
flags,
I
that's
would.
that's one thing.
The Confederate flags need to go. Let's be unequivocal. And I wish I could find a way.
Well, let's buy the properties and quietly take them down.
Well, would Sam sell them?
I mean, Sam's damn near dead.
Well,
That's
would he-
a whack-a-mole game.
Yeah, I mean,
As soon as you did it, another one would come
well,
up.
but let me say this
If you
again.
were quiet about it, though, if
No,
you
hang on. Right, see, what
Quiet
you
about
just said is the key, because what happened
were
during
not doing it live on camera.
yeah, but what happened in that whole debate was, the outsiders were making this Confederate, crazy right-wing Confederate Nazis versus do-gooder, out-of-town lefties trying to take down the statue, and that's where the whole thing started. But what disappeared in that discussion was respect for the people who wanted the statue to stay, not because they want to return to the Old South, but because a bunch of people not from Pittsboro were
telling them
moving to
what to do.
Pittsboro and telling them what to
Right,
do.
yeah.
That was what inflamed people's feelings so badly. So
It
if
still
people,
inflames those people's feelings.
huh?
It still inflames those
Oh,
people's
it
feelings.
still inflames the
Okay, so
people.
let
So
me
if
tell
we
you
did
this.
it in a way that was buy the land,
non-inflammation.
and we're not saying that you guys are horrible people and want to put people back in bondage and,
Yes, thank you.
Handmaid's Tale and all that, you could make some progress on that discussion. You 100%, thank you.
So,
You 100% could, but if it involves shaming the people who did it, it ain't gonna happen.
Well,
I'm just straight up trying to think about like the 30,000-foot view of we can sort of continue on in mediocrity, or we could go do something spectacular. And the way you do something spectacular is you get first of all, you put away your daggers and your old gripes and your complaints, and you say, this is how we can move the needle in this town.
Right.
So if you want a hand on fighting this concept across the street, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I mean, of course the county needs to get out of there.
Right.
And at which point you build the skywalk over and make it a bigger food and beverage entertainment destination. I mean,
Well, right.
oh my God.
Right now, there's a vision plan being given to the Board of Commissioners tonight. It goes before them tonight.
What time's that meeting?
That
6?
What?
the only proposition for that area is multifamily housing and a high-rise office building with no public parking. That's what's on the plan. And the first time I saw it was last week when I was looking through the commissioner's schedule.
Can any of these plans be implemented without some kind of joint venture, public-private enterprise? Can any-
Right, because we know that the town is hopeless.
Well,
The town-
and the town says this is what they want, but at the end of the day,
But tonight the board is going to say, this is what we want, or let's study it more.
want in
Those
this
are
hand,
right. Want this is what we want, and if they vote for this is what we want tonight, they're voting for a high-rise office building and multifamily housing right there, where all the beautiful trees and all the parking for everyone downtown is, and all of that. And so, I get along with every single person on the town board. I get along with the mayor. I get along with the town manager. I get along with the downtown Pittsboro advisory
Teresa,
committee
yeah.
woman. All of that.
all of them on the advisory board.
I didn't say that,
We don't have to talk about that.
but nonetheless,
I mean,
I don't agree with that. But we haven't been asked. Nobody on that downtown advisory board has been asked what you think of this plan. It's just going to the board without us being
So
asked.
what's the
I
purpose of the
understand.
advisory ban?
Yeah, well, see, this is also true in Parks and Rec. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the other things I've been arguing for is a Greenway connectivity that goes from the college to the boat ramp. Okay, so right now we've got
That'd be
one.
great.
We've got
Yeah.
one Greenway segment in this town. It goes from the laundromat to the cement factory.
Right.
We need another segment that takes it over to the fairgrounds. We need
Mm-hmm.
another segment that takes it to the 72-acre park that is going to get built next to the plant.
Right.
And then we need to push on. Okay, there's two kinds of towns in this world. Cool towns, they're the ones that have greenways, and uncool towns, that's us.
Right. And
That's
and,
Pittsboro.
And
And
uncool towns that take the center of town and turn it into a high-rise office building and multifamily housing.
Thank you.
All right, are you guys about ready to wrap this
Yeah,
up? 'Cause
we-
we
yeah,
usually
yeah,
Don't you
yeah.
want? Don't
But
you
we-
want a picture of everything before?
we will get a picture,
Tony,
but
before you take a bite out of it.
yes, but the thing is, we usually don't let people suffer through us eating because
Thank
it's
you
gross.
so much.
All right, we'll be back.